got 2 offers within a week. We pick one of the offers, okay, and we close the deal like during 30 or 40 days since the offer been accepted, and I made some money, okay. I didn't get like 20% or 30% on the money investment. I just got
Welcome to The Path to Wealth, the show about well-being, fulfillment and financial freedom. And I'm your host, Hannes Henschel. Hi everybody, welcome back to The Path to Wealth. I'm Hannes Henschel and I'm so glad you're here. If you've been thinking about investing in real estate, but you haven't taken action yet, you're not alone. Many people get stuck in the analyst paralysis stage and don't pursue their dreams. Today we'll talk with Alex Khodnev from NP2 Capital. I love the slogan that they have, by the way. Nice people, nice properties. Alex will inspire you to take action and make your vision a reality. Alex has been investing in real estate since 2017. He will tell us all about his personal journey from the very start of his career to his first deal and how he continues to improve every day. He managed to quit his job within 2 years from starting his real estate journey, and we will learn how he did it. This episode is a great motivation for those who are still hesitant to step out of their comfort zone and embark on their very own real estate investing journey. Welcome and thank you for joining us today, Alex.
Thank you so much, Hannes. Excited to be here.
Yeah, I think if anybody has an inspiring story, I mean, there's some, but you really chose to live your dream. And what I love, not only do you have the freedom to do what you do, you also do it in your very own way. And you decided to live kind of far away from, I would say, the place of business. And I would really like you to elaborate on your personal journey, how you went from being a W-2 employee to becoming someone that lives on a different continent but invests in real estate in the United States. So yeah, where did you start?
I remember myself being like 22, 23 years old. Then I first visit States like a couple of times, like during the summer. And I was so amazed, like with the size of America, with the wealth that people have, huge buildings, huge cars, like you have like a lot of wealth, okay. And somehow I felt that the States is a great place to make business in, okay. At the same time, I discover something about real estate, okay. But I wasn't ready yet. I didn't have any money. I didn't have any knowledge. Okay. Fast forward to 2016. I think. 2016. I found like I had some money that I saved during like being an engineer in the company. Okay. So I have some amount of money, and I start to actually search for some kind of passive investment, okay? And I found someone here in Israel actually who was teaching how to invest in the States by yourself, okay? So then like you get the tools, you could go and you start your own journey, or you have your tools to analyze the deal, okay? And I was ready with some amount of money just to buy very simple single family house, okay, and to rent it out, okay. I was here like it's a great profit, so I always was looking, hey, how can I make more money from the money I have, okay. And then I joined this class, okay, and during the class I completely understand that I can go with someone else and be able to analyze the deal, but I can also do stuff by myself, okay? and it's even possible to do it remotely. Okay, so actually I took the class 2016, and I got my first deal back in 2017.
Nice, very nice. So where did the money savviness come from? Did you have somebody in your family who kind of encouraged you to look at, save the money, invest the money? Where did that come from?
Since I was in my early 20s, I was, I had that idea and that hustle, like how can I make more money? How can I invest the money that I saved to make more money? Maybe stocks, maybe bonds, maybe real estate, okay? And I did invest a little bit in the stocks. It was some kind of successful story, not like a huge success, okay? And then I found real estate, and always then you invest in real estate, you backed up with the property itself. So it's very how can I say it? It's very safe investment, okay? And if you do the right investment, you also can get great profits. I mean, above 10% annual returns. So this is why I choose real estate.
Yeah, nice. So tell us a little bit about what the transition was like. What was your personal work ethic like? So you still had a job, but how did you transition from being in a W-2 job to educating yourself to being a full-time real estate investor? And what did you did it in a very short time frame, it barely took you 2 years. What did those 2 years look like for you?
First I started to look for a deal. I was looking actually to do a fix and flip, okay, remotely. So first of all, I choose an area to work with, and I choose to work in Cleveland, Ohio, because of a couple of reasons. First of all the Midwest area, was and still now is very affordable area. If you go to New York or you go to California or you go to Miami, this is super expensive, okay? But I had enough cash to buy very simple single-family house in the Midwest area. So then I just got the idea that I have a family members in Cleveland, okay? So that was my choice, okay? I started to look for a realtor in Cleveland area, and then I found a realtor, okay? And I share my buy criteria with him, and we started to look for a deal. And just by the end of 2017, I got my first project under contract, okay? It was full rehab, HUD-owned house, okay? In a nice suburban Cleveland, very straightforward, very simple, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage, a little bit of basement, okay? And I bought this deal, okay, with cash, and I found a general contractor, okay? I actually spoke with a few, and I asked them some questions, okay, and I examined them, okay? I asked for some referrals, and I asked for some last projects that they did. So this is how you actually do your own due diligence on people, okay? And then I picked some general contractor, and we went forward, okay? And long story short, during after the 3 months, okay, the property was ready. So then we listed, okay, and we got 2 offers within a week. We pick one of the offers, okay, and we closed the deal during 30 or 40 days since the offer been accepted, and I made some money, okay. I didn't get 20% or 30% on the money investment. I just got maybe I think between 5 or 6 grand, okay, net before taxes income. But for me, that was a proof of concept, okay, and to understand, hey, this is possible, I can do it, and I can do it even better, and I can improve my numbers, I can get more efficient, okay. So for me, it was not about the money, it was about to assure to myself this is possible, and this is possible to do it remotely, okay.
I think what you just said is super crucial. It's, do it the first time, and then you learn and you can see that it works. And I think everybody has that moment in their real estate journey, or generally in their investment journey. At first it's just theory, and we're like, okay, we put the money here, and once we receive the first checks and the first payday arrives, you're like, oh my God, I can do this. And as you said, like, you do a little something and you're like, realize the scale on which you can move forward. And I think those are life-changing moments. Like the first couple checks we received from our rental properties, I was like, hell yeah. And then the first full cycle deal that we went with multifamily, I was like, hell yes, and it's those moments when you start to see and live and dream on a different level.
Yeah, absolutely. The only you need is just to make one deal and get your proof of concept. Yeah.
I said, what was the hardest part for you being long distance or even on a different continent, to actually close it? For example, did the broker take you seriously from the beginning, or did you have to go through different brokers? Did you find somebody to meet with? What were the biggest challenges that you were facing being remotely?
So definitely the biggest challenge doing this remotely is that you're not present on the ground, right? So sometimes you get to act really quick. For example, sometimes you find a really good deal, okay, and you want to lock up the deal, right? Like you wanna jump in your car and see the house and just sign the contract, right? But like being literally on the second side of the planet, it's impossible for me, okay? So it ended up working with some local people. I mean, I do found like a realtor, great local realtor. It took me some time, okay, to find this guy, and it took me also, then first time you're starting to speak with the realtors, they like, okay, what do you want? How do you work? How do you transfer money? How do you close? How do you sign? A lot of that uncertainty, okay? So it took for myself I was needed to switch few realtors, okay, to find my guy, and also to gain confidence, okay, how to explain it, how to make them confident it's gonna work, how just to show like I'm a real buyer, Yeah, so the biggest challenge for me is being far, okay, that I actually cannot be present in the house, okay, but that actually take me to the place that I need to be very creative, okay, to bring solutions to the situation. For example, then I get a deal that I need to react quick, so I have few people in the area that I know personally. They can jump on the car, they can go in the house, and then we do like a FaceTime or like a WhatsApp call, right, video, and then we see the house, okay? And then these guys, they understand real estate. So they can look on all that small stuff or a big stuff that I need to take care of, like, hey, look, this house have a little bit of moisture in the basement. This house have a little bit of old roof. And this house like very old HVAC. And this is a great house, So this is how you go, okay? This is how you work, and then pick your deal, okay? And then working with the general contractor, which I found is the number one challenge. Then you rehab the house, okay? So first of all, I choose. I have my own due diligence process on the general contractors, okay? Which means I ask to see their previous jobs, okay? Just send me locations, send me pictures. Send me referrals for your last clients, okay? So I really interview them, okay? And then I pick a general contractor, and then we build a contract, okay? So I never pay a lot of money in advance, okay? I usually pay just a small amount as a down payment, okay? And then I build milestones, okay? For example, hey, I pay you a little, and then you do demo, and you replace the windows, okay? And then I send my guy to assure that everything is done, and then I pay you another amount of money. And then you do, for example, like flooring in the bathrooms, I send my guy once again to make sure it's been done, and then I pay you once again, and I always hold some amount of money to the end of the process, to send my guy like for the last time to make sure everything is good, everything is done, everything is like clear, okay? And then this guy got his last payment, okay, this general contractor, and this way I just make sure I owe him money, but not him owe me some work and materials. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So that's how you solve it. You got to build this relationship with the local professionals, and it takes some time, but by the end, it works great. Like, I mean, it's never the same like I present on the ground, okay? And I've been there a lot of times since then personally, and I saw that houses and I lock up deals, okay? But even then I'm not present, I just ask someone to go and see the house, and we're good to go.
Yeah. So now you're moving on to larger projects, right? You're not doing so many single family. Now you're looking at larger scale syndications in the multifamily space. For those larger transactions, do you usually fly in, or do you also do that with a team?
So yes, large transactions, because we speak about huge amount of money, okay? So we do have like property management or like inspector that tour the property for us, okay? Then we submit an LOI, and if we have an LOI accepted, like we had like 5 months ago or so, okay? So then one of us, me or my partner, or both of us together, we just take a plane, we fly, okay, and we do full due diligence by ourselves, okay?
Yep.
We walk all the unit, 100% of the unit, and then we ask some vendors to come in, you know, to inspect the roofs, inspect the HVAC, inspect the foundation, plumbing, and then we check 100% of the buildings. And then we come back home, work on the loan, okay, which we can completely do remotely, okay, and then we also raise that private equity here in Israel and bring it to the States, and then we close the deal.
That's interesting. So let's speak about some technical aspects from raising money or even doing business remote. Like, what's your entity setup? How do you control the entity from Israel in a sense? So you probably have an LLC in the United States, and then let's explore this a little bit, because I think it's very interesting.
We obviously work with the LLCs, and then we work with the big multifamily deal. We tend to open an LLC to each and every deal that we close, okay? And then, so first of all, we work with the real estate attorney that write all the documents and, you know, operating agreements and all that stuff that needed in order to operate this business, okay? And if you ask us about the structure, so it's a little bit simple. Like, we have on one side, we have investors. On the second side, you have us, the managers, the entrepreneurs, okay? So we have an LLC that hold the property, okay? And the owners of this LLC are investors, okay? So they actually own a deal, okay? And by the operating agreement we have, okay, it set the responsibility of every one of us, okay? So investors holding the actual LLC, and we work on all the deal, like we manage it, we rehab that, we are responsible on quarterly reports, on funds distribution, and on selling the deal like after 5 years or something like that by the business plan, okay? And then we have like a waterfall, and we split the profits, okay?
What's the tax liability
It's
like?
just pretty much straightforward syndication deal.
Yeah. What's the tax liability like for you and your passive investors, given that you're coming from a completely different country? And do you, as an LLC, have
Yeah.
to withhold some of the money, or does each of your investors have to have their own entity in the United States? You know, I remember I was speaking to Mauricio Raul about this, and he said that everybody has to be either a U.S. person, or if you're not a U.S. person, you have to, have an entity, or I guess in another case, the LLC that's managing the property has to withhold some of the money for the IRS. So what does that process look like for your investors?
Well, first of all, then the people ask me tax questions. I always say, hey, I'm not a tax advisor and I'm not a CPA, okay? But from my knowledge, the moment the properties start to bring some income, okay? So we have income distribution, okay? So whoever get an income, okay, in the LLC, okay, have to file tax return in the States, right? And then after you file tax return in the States, we also file tax return in Israel.
Yeah.
But this is being done on a personal level.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we do file an income for LLC, and then we file an income for each one of us personally.
Is there a double tax liability? Or is there a treaty between Israel and the US?
There is some kind of agreement between Israel and the States. Not much sure I know the right name of that, but it actually say, hey, if my tax liability in the States are, for example, 25%, and my tax liability in Israel is 30%, so it's not just I'm paying in the States like 25%, and then I got the money here, and I pay another 30%. No, it doesn't work like this. So I do pay 25% first in the States, and then I only need to pay another 5% here in Israel. This is just an example, okay? But you don't pay twice the full amount, okay?
And as Alex already said, we're no legal or tax advice. We're not CPAs or lawyers, so this is purely educational.
Yep.
Yeah. So I get it. So what is the K1s? How do you pass those on to your investors? They get a K1. Do most of your investors open a US entity to do this for themselves, or do they do it in person?
No. So each one of the investors is the part of the LLC that hold the property. Okay.
Yeah.
So they receive the K1 on the personal level.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm going to speak to Reed in a couple days, and Reed is allocating a lot of capital from Australia to the United States, and it's very interesting how we all, I mean, me being German, you being from Israel, Reed being from Australia, that we all choose to invest in the United States. And what is it about Israel that makes you not want to invest the money locally?
Yeah, a couple of things. The market here is super crazy hot and competitive. The prices are very high, and then the return on investment is very low. Then you compare it to the States.
Yeah.
Okay. For example, if you want to buy an apartment here and to rent it, and you want to get a mortgage for this apartment, so there is a case so you couldn't even cover your mortgage payments. I mean, principal and interest. Okay, your rent income wouldn't sometimes cover your mortgage payments. Okay. Yeah.
That's basically the same here in Germany. So, and I found that very interesting. So I was looking more diligently 2 years ago a little bit in the midst of COVID, I spent a lot of time looking for German properties because I was curious if we can do the same here, that we're doing the way we're doing it in the US, and there wasn't the same spread. Just like you said, the rent usually doesn't cover the expenses. So, if I wanted to do this, I would actually have to pay money so somebody else lives in my apartment. And compared from the US perspective, obviously, that's like, why would I ever do that?
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense to grow with business here as a real estate investor unless you have a huge amount of cash available.
Yeah. So what I found in Germany, there's a couple different things. There's usually, I saw that the people that are involved in the actual development, they have a pretty good positioning to earn money on the real estate, whether it's build to sell or build to rent. And then I also noticed that the standard of living for Germans, what they want from the apartment, the way the craftsmanship has to be, the way the materials that they use in the apartment, the expectations are very high. But the willingness to pay for the rent compared to the United States is rather low. And in the US, there's just a better spread between what you actually have to provide in the apartment and the market rents. Like, for example, the area where I'm in here, outside of Frankfurt, the willingness to pay for the rent is nowhere close to what you have to pay to cover the mortgage and everything. And that's really interesting. And obviously that breaks the business model right then and there. One of the markets here that works is senior living, or those kind of facilities. We do own some senior caretaking facilities where there is a decent spread. So one of the things that I really enjoyed about you is also your reason why you wanted to be financially free. So let's dive in a little bit into your passions, because I really loved what we talked about earlier.
So, like, living in Israel, you have an access to like 2 or 3 different seas. Okay, the Mediterranean, the Dead Sea, and then the Red Sea. Okay, and especially in the Red Sea, there is a lot of diving. Okay, it's like beautiful corals and very clear water and a lot of like colorful fish. It's amazing. So I've been, since 2016, I've been free diving. Okay, and for those who don't know what free diving is like diving without any gear or equipment. You just hold the breath and go underwater. Okay, so I've been training for this since 2016, and I had like a huge passion to move to Eilat, which is the southern city of Israel. Okay, by the Red Sea coast. Okay, but none of to do the master course. Okay, in free diving. The master course is like very intensive training program in free diving, which takes usually months and a half. Okay, but any business can get you like then you're an employee. No one can get you like months and a half off time. You just go and you have your fun and you come back. If you can live for months and a half, they probably don't need you much, right? So that was an approach. Sometimes you can get a vacation of 1 week, maybe a couple of weeks, but obviously not a week and a half, not a month and a half. Okay, so at the moment I finish my just regular job in that company. Okay, I took a tour to the States and I've been in Cleveland for 3 months just to learn all about like the neighborhoods, all about the city, meet a lot of people, create a lot of connections, see a lot of houses. I started like 3 projects at the same time just by the end of 2019 and beginning of 2020. Okay, And then it was like maybe 3rd of March 2020. Then I came back home, okay, to Israel. And then suddenly, COVID-19 hit, okay, very hard. And we all got under the lockdown, okay. And in Israel, the lockdown is the lockdown, okay. You have nothing to do. You have like police being out on the streets. You can't go. You can only go and buy some food and like to the pharmacies, okay. So we was locked almost like 2 months, okay. And then the first wave of COVID was like easing, okay. And they lift up COVID restrictions, okay. And then I decided, hey, I'm not gonna make my dreams the reality, okay? Because COVID get us to that kind of state of mind that like the life is not like this is not something that is fixed, okay? Sometimes things change. Sometimes you can be under the lockdown. Sometimes you can get some like big threat on your life, okay? So people don't want to hold their dreams anymore, okay? So then they lifted the lockdown restrictions, okay? And I just decided I'm gonna move to Eilat, to the Red Sea, and I'm gonna train for free diving, okay? For that master course program, okay? And I ended up living in Eilat for 9 months, okay? Diving almost every day, doing some yoga, okay? And then obviously Israel and the east coast of the States, we have 7 hours of difference, right? So we're 7 hours ahead of the EST, of the Eastern Standard Time, okay? So then I was waking up every morning, do my freediving routine, a little bit of yoga, okay? Then I was meeting with my buddies and go and free dive in the sea for a couple hours, going back, have some food, have some rest, and then 4 o'clock, 4 p.m. is in America 9 a.m. So that was the time for me to open my laptop, to take my phone, and go to business. So that was my style of living then.
Yeah, I like that. That's my cup of tea.
Yeah. Then the moment you invest remotely, okay, then you understand you don't actually have to be in the same place, right? You can move, you can even go abroad, you can travel, and you still can do the same business, right? Which I obviously did. I spent some time by the Red Sea in Eilat, like 9 months, and then I took a trip to Greece, to Athens, okay, just for 8 days, okay, and then I also spent some time in Mexico, okay, because like it's the same. Like if you're not present in Cleveland, right, you're present somewhere else. So you can be in Israel, you can be in Greece, you can be wherever the internet is, and wherever you can catch like the phone calls. That's enough. So being like kind of digital nomad.
Let me ask you one thing about the digital nomad, and I operate much like that to some degree. But one of the challenges I have, if I keep moving too much, then it's hard for me to connect with my work. If I'm moving too much, and I feel for example, let's say I'm in Mexico versus being in India where I spend a lot of time, then the time difference at least makes me feel like I'm in sync with my projects, and that's one of the challenges at least I experience. So how do you overcome that? How do you keep your projects top of your mind? How don't you get sucked into just just enjoying Mexico or Greece too much, or letting it go while you're maybe out there diving? Because I think that's a very crucial piece to the puzzle. Most people don't have that self-discipline to make it happen on a consistent basis, because it takes complete self-motivation. There's nobody there poking you. There's nobody hey Alex, you got to do this. It's all self-drive. Is that something that comes natural to you?
Well, this is actually a great point. Okay, so first of all, if you work remotely and travel, you probably want to be a slow traveler. I mean, you don't want to jump and change location every couple of days or every week. Like I've been very slow traveler. Okay, this is number one. Number two, and maybe the most important, is the discipline. Is the discipline, So, like in my mind, in my understanding, this business is the only thing that can support my lifestyle right now. So by any chance, I cannot allow myself to lose it. I have to succeed. I need to succeed. And by the end of it, also, I decided then I'm gonna back to Israel. I'm just gonna be here in the center in Tel Aviv, and in order to really focus, and really like get constant on this business, I'm gonna stay here. This is what I decided.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're a little bit in the same place when it comes to that. It's all nice and dandy to be able to move, but to really do focus, deep work, and get stuff moving, I think it's good to have a base, and I see the whiteboard behind you. I love that stuff. I love whiteboards. I love pulling it out. And you just can't travel with a proper whiteboard. The digital stuff doesn't do it for me yet. I don't know, maybe once I get into the metaverse and I feel like I'm standing in the room and I have this massive whiteboard in front of me, maybe at that stage I can do it. But right now I still need that kind of offline environment to really get going.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so cool. And I hope people really pick up on what you laid down here in the last 45 minutes, because it's so cool that you pursued your dream and you found a vehicle to sustain your dream, and you put all your effort behind it, and now you're living your dream. And I think that's quite exciting. At least for me, this is exciting. When I speak to someone like you, Alex, that's like, yeah, if Alex can do it, then I should be able to figure it out too. And I really hope that's what people take away from this, because there is certainly no excuses if you live all the way in Israel and you make it happen in the United States, And sometimes I find myself like, oh my God, I live in New York. It's so tough to invest in Tennessee.
Yeah. That business that I develop is like, I'm not becoming rich yet, okay, but I always say I already bought my freedom, okay, and I still need to work, and I love my work, and I spend a lot of time on like looking for new deals, underwriting new properties, and looking to get a new multifamily. Okay, but I choose it, okay, and I have a lot of choice. I choose where I work from, okay, I have my laptop, I can travel. I choose what time I spend. I choose when I go on vacation. So for me, it's the most important, So you obviously can get rich with the real estate, but also sometimes people miss that fact that they can also get very free. Okay, and for me is like the most important and the most inspiring part. Like I'm in an honor of myself, of my time, of my location, and that's the most amazing part.
Yeah, 100%. For me, it's all about freedom. Investing for me is just that. It's like being free to live life on our terms, and then also I think, once somebody is financially free and has resources, the natural tendency is to start giving. That's at least the folks around me, whenever they set themselves free, whenever they had the level of resources that they were looking for, it always ends up in giving more, and that's why I think everybody should become an investor. Everybody should educate themselves. So I hope this episode really inspires people to do that, because I think, Alex, you had a beautiful journey that you're on, and it's commendable, what you're doing from the distance, the drive you're having, and You know, it's not easy to fly around the world and also, you know, have that vision for yourself and then get to proof of concept and drive it from there. So that's amazing. And yeah, thank you so much for taking the time, sharing your story with us. Where can people connect with you and NP2?
You can find me on Facebook. Just type my name, Alex Khodnev. Okay, you can find me on LinkedIn. Okay, I'm pretty often there, and you can just send me an email. Okay, my email is hroinvestments@gmail.com. Just shoot me an email. I'll be glad to connect.
Awesome. We'll also make sure to add these to the show notes. Again, Alex, this was awesome, very inspiring. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Hannah. It's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you for joining us at The Path to Wealth. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Check out our upcoming guests and be sure to share it with all your friends and family that want to take their life to the next level of wealth.